Hey there, folks. I thought I would try something a little bit different. Kind of break away from the simulation stuff that I've been doing lately. And play something a little bit more familiar to me. Well, I guess familiar to old me back in the 1990s. When the original version came out. This obviously isn't that version, but, well, I'll get into some of that nostalgia stuff later on. First, the opening. Not overbearing at all. He lied to us. That liar. So now we actually get to take control of the character, and good old Cecil actually runs at like twice speed compared to the original game. And I'll cover a few of the differences between this and the actual original. As far as the original US version, that is. I know there's differences between even the US version and the Japanese version that came out at that time for the same system. And there's also probably been about a dozen different ports of that particular game. And I figured I'd try this one because it's got a better translation. There's some of the things that were cut are back in here. So it's a more complete game. Much more faithful to probably what was intended to come out, at least as far as the translation and the base game goes. I haven't really done any research as far as what all they might have added in. I'm sure there's a bonus dungeon on the moon or something like that. And some other hidden things that probably weren't maybe in the original, but still kind of got shimmied into this version. And there's obviously a secret door there. We can't get behind that guy to see what's in said location. So far, the translation does kind of pay off a little bit better, but as you noticed in that first section, instead of being handed just a random package to go deliver, which I kind of think makes a little bit more sense, you actually just get handed the bomb ring, which, I mean, logic dictates that delivering a bomb ring, which is either a ring of explosive devices or a ring of summoned creatures named Bomb, which are out in the world, probably not a good thing to deliver to a town that you might want to, you know, not go destroy. As far as Cecil's concerned, that's probably not what he's going there for, but yet he's taking what very well could be a obviously not peaceful offering towards the Village of Mist. A little odd, but like I said, it's one of those things. That's just how the translation brought it over, and it's kind of one of those things that you're like, well, the original version, at least it made sense. I mean, you're just delivering some package, and then, oops, it's a bomb. And I might be a little bit spoilerific about some things here and there. I won't get too far ahead as far as the game's concerned, but I assume most anybody who's actually watching or cares to watch a video about Final Fantasy 2/4 has probably played said game, so I do kind of like the music in this version. It does have a little bit like maybe a filter to it. It kind of sounds a little bit different. You kind of at least get and you also kind of get the impression that at least people here in this version are definitely not a big fan of what's going on as far as up to this point in the story. We're not like starting off the story, we're actually already like kind of in the middle of what's been happening here in Baron. So it's, you know, it's I would say better storytelling. I think a lot of the earlier Final Fantasies are better about that than the later ones are, where everything is trying to be as convoluted as possible. And that's just kind of the opening, like, kind of cutscene to the game itself. I mean, there's the opening screen. That's pretty much the setup to where we actually get to take control of the game and start off. Buy a few potions while I'm hanging out here. I know we'll find some, but you know what? I always want to keep a stock of potions hanging around. And the people here are kind of upset about various things. Somehow they know about this mission to Mist Valley already for some reason. How do they know? And this is Sid's house. He's asleep. Building new engines. I don't think he's got anything else in his house. There's always a few things to check out on various bookshelves and pots and clocks and all that kind of thing. Here, maybe? No. The training room was the location, I believe. Yeah, that used to be. There used to be an actual separate building for it in the original version that basically did the same thing. It was the tutorial. Rose's mother lives in the village. Anything in these pots? No. Anything? No. Alright. I guess the one gripe I have about this like double speed thing is that it tends to let you get caught on things a lot easier because you're kind of not expecting. It'll take a little getting used to. So, for those who have played this game before, we obviously need to go towards the first dungeon in the game, which is the Cavern Mist. Cavern of Mist. Mist Cavern. We'll see the name of it when we get there. Like I said, some of the battle tune and the music sounds pretty much the same, but it kind of almost feels like it's maybe been over-processed a bit. It's got kind of like a more of a scratchy metallic filter on top of it. Some of the sound effects seem to feel the same way too, but I don't know, maybe if that's something to do with the GBA's chipset, maybe? But it does still feel a little bit different. Well, maybe it'll grow on me. Who knows? Mist Cave, there we go. It kind of feels like we have the sprint boost from Final Fantasy, 6, 3, whatever you want to call it. Now, again, I will kind of cover some of the bigger differences. I'm not going to go through all the, this item's named something else in this other game type changes. Those are negligible at best. But, you do notice on these battle screens that, it didn't go first, so I won't show it, but Cecil has Dark, which was actually in the original game and then cut. I'm not sure exactly why. I mean, early on, with multiple enemies, you're gonna kind of cut through them anyway. I guess it was, they took it out because it made that too easy. But it's not like any of these guys are difficult. I mean, goblins, these guys have like 6 hit points. These things are essentially like the blue slimes from Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest, whatever you want to call them. If they get an attack off, you've done something wrong, probably. Or there's just been so many of them that you couldn't kill them all in the first round. Because they're that pathetic. Grab some potions, more random battles. I'm gonna leave the random battles and stuff in. I'm gonna dart these guys. I'm not gonna grind or anything on screen. That would be kind of ridiculous. Any grinding that needs to be done will be done off screen, but I probably won't do too much of that either. And maybe for money or for items or whatnot. Nothing too severe. I don't want to, you know, cheese this game, but I don't really want to get into. I don't really want to get into a game and get, you know, deep into a dungeon and die and have to do it all over again. So I'll keep myself leveled well enough. Gain a level. Come on. Alright, there we go. Yeah, like I said, that speed kind of does hamper your ability to turn. Or, you know, make easy motions left and right. You seem to get hung up on walls and it's time to pay the price. Sure. We have to deliver this object, which we obviously probably know that this might do something bad wrong. So the Mist Dragon is kind of the first boss in the game, and it's really, I wouldn't even consider it like an actual boss. It's more just kind of a tutorial plot roadblock. There's likely no way you can lose to this unless you just act real stupid. And I'm not really going to show off anything entirely mindless. I'm not going to play this game as if I were a child and didn't know that I'm not supposed to attack this thing when it goes into mist form. I mean, I believe if you hit it when you're in mist form, it does a frost attack to your entire group. It does a decent amount of damage, but it's still not going to kill you. It's kind of just there to tell you to, you know, not do exactly what you just did. And here, this was kind of one of those games, and I played, like I said, when you played Final Fantasy 1, and then you went on to 2, it felt like an actual evolution of the game, even though, you know, there was a bunch of different other ones that came out in Japan before this. It went from where you kind of were just beating enemies' faces and you had to know what spells they used to kind of having like actual tactics against bosses and monster types, and you had to kind of know exactly what you were, well, not exactly what you're doing, but you had to kind of learn as you fought an enemy. And it actually kind of felt like a, like I said, a fun evolution from Final Fantasy 1 to Final Fantasy 2. Not only that, these characters actually had like story to them. These weren't generic 4 dudes that you just picked up and wandered off into the darkness and did what people told you to do. Oh, I guess we'll see exactly what happens when you hit the Mist Dragon. Yeah. So we kind of hang out and do this. And I'll kind of talk about some various things as we go along. Kind of to fill in time during these random combats and boss fights when they do this kind of stuff. Although, I don't believe there's any more boss fights that are quite this tedious or just, you know, time wasting. At least in other ones, we'll, you know, have to deal with problems and combat them tactically. Or with sheer brute force, which is always another option in these games. I think I'll go through this little segment here in Mist, and we'll call it a good starting point. Whoops. You mean the bomb ring? It actually had something to do with bombs? You guys should do some research on bomb rings before you carry them off into other villages, maybe. Oh. Oh, okay, tight. Ow. Alright, and with that, I think we will... Oh. I guess I'll get in a fight with some desert Saguans. Sahagans? Sahagwans? I don't know, Saguans. Sagahagan. Sakahagas. Sahakakas. Haggis, I don't know, whatever. We're fighting these desert fish people. Which kind of seems like it would not be a very good combination. Alright, now I think I'll call it a really good starting point. And we'll do a save here. Save it in slot 3 because we're cool like that. So until next time, folks, have a good one.